We've gathered some of the industry's top builders and fabricators on this stage to show you their skills live and in person. Watch as they chop, grind, and weld their creations into existence right before your very eyes. Feel free to ask questions at any time directly to your host, Pat Jansen. The doors to the shop are open, so pull up a stool, kick back, and welcome to the Grease and Gears Garage.
All right, that's usually a really cool video. You can't hear it right now. My name's Pat Jansen. We're here with Grease and Gears Garage. We want to thank Progressive Motorcycle Insurance for bringing us out. We are just a bunch of greasy mechanics that travel around the country with a bunch of tools. We had the idea that we would try to demystify some procedures that go on with custom bike building, some tools that are used, some processes that are entered into, and so that's what we do. So we travel around, the Grease and Gears Garage crew, and we invite friends of ours from different regions of the country to come give you a flavor of one thing that they do in their shop on a regular basis. We've narrowed tanks, we've built Springer front ends, frames, the whole nine. Today we've got an extra special thing we're gonna do because not many people really get to see this anymore. We do have Barry Wardlaw from Accurate Engineering, all the way from Alabama.
Dothan, Alabama.
Right by Greenbow?
Dothan.
Down by Dothan. And he is going to be walking us through this Panhead engine. Barry, show us what you got for us.
All right, I'm back. Here we have Chris Callan's 1949 EL Panhead motor. I don't know what's inside of it. I've never seen it before. So what we'll be doing is, if I was doing something in my shop, of course I'm not completely rigged out to do it exactly how I would have it in my shop, but I brought as much as I can. I'm going to share some tips with you, things of that nature. And the number one rule is, especially when you're doing a vintage engine or any engine, first, do no harm. Go in it with information, some knowledge, proper tools, ask somebody, ask one, don't ask 10, you get 10 different answers. But one of the things that I see most overlooked is get a service manual, I don't care what engine you have, and get a good parts book. These are really the vintage stuff, Panhead stuff I have, but I see this neglected so much, and it's so simple to go in with some proper information.
Now, you bought those new, though, didn't you, Barry?
Pardon me?
You bought those new, though.
No, they were used when I got them in 1977. And then, I don't know if many of you are familiar with this. If you're not, Bruce Palmer does a wonderful series of books, and they're affordable again. It will show you about date codes, bore stroke, what fits what. Really, really I highly recommend this. It's great for the bathroom and also for the workshop. So what we'll be doing is we're going to start from the top. I've got my good friend Dana Peters, who helps me up in Dothan. And we're going to start from the top and work our way down as if we were doing it. It's a customer's engine, and we don't know if these are original pans. We don't know if they're aftermarket pans, freshly chromed. So we don't nick the chrome, because we're going to take out these screws up here. What we want to do is I run a piece of duct tape around them, just for protection, because things happen. And I do want to say this. If you buy any duct tape and it has a duck in it, don't buy that duct tape.
It's not the good stuff?
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's actually not duct tape, D-U-C-K. It's duct tape. It's D-U-C-T. And it was designed to be used on duct systems.
So what we see here is we know that this engine doesn't have an original oil pump. Visually, we already know that because we looked at our manuals, didn't we?
I did.
And we're going to disassemble it from the top down, and bear with me, because here we go. Wrench.
Now, what's the problem with using those original oil pumps a lot of times?
I use them a lot, but they need to be set up properly. There's really a lot to the oil pump. This is 73 and up style, 1973 and up. It's when they started using the end oil or pinion shaft. This has a side oil or pinion shaft, which I'll explain later. But the earlier oil pump was a cast iron pump. On this 49, it actually had a cast iron cover on it. Later on, they went to an aluminum. But you can run those successfully using a side oiler. When I set those up, I like to put the gears, I like to machine the decks of the oil pump down to where the gears are actually about 1,000th proud, 1,000th higher than the deck. So when my gasket's on there and I get about a 2,000th crush on my gasket, I'm running almost zero clearance. And that brings roll pressure. And we've tested this many, many times. When it's hot, who said that? When it's hot, well, I can tell you my James Wallace story from Shreveport, Louisiana. I remember I had 1.5 pounds in my 41 knucklehead, and I pushed my motorcycle 3 miles, and I told James Wallace, my God, my motor's dying. He said, son, you got a good one. So, normally you're going to see 5 to 8 when it's hot, running straight 50 weight oil. Any other questions? Anybody want to ask any questions? Feel free, please.
You know,
it's fun to do. I love to share this stuff. I like to hear what you do. Pardon me? Come up here. I'm fixing to be 62, and I haven't been able to hear since I was 12. Go ahead. Up here. Come on. Come on. I'm going to go.
How many miles per hour would it take?
How many miles per hour?
Yes. Like at the speed.
The motor, how fast?
How many miles per hour would this 49 go? 107, 111, but know this. I took a leaky Panhead to Bonneville, and it went 161 miles an hour, and we never got traction. And we did set a world record for it, and it did leak.
Dothan, Alabama.
So, but that was a big inch motor. This is a 61. The EL, I didn't explain that. You'll have 2 digits. This one is a 49. The 49 stands for 1949. And then you have an EL or an FL. The EL stands for 61 cubic inches, 1,000 cc's. FL stands for 74 cubic inches, which is 1,200 cc's, roughly. But we don't know that that's what's in here because you can modify them. So we don't know.
I think Chris did.
And I see a lot of mixed and matched stuff in my shop. Lots of it. Some aftermarket, some OEM.
I imagine you see a lot of stuff that you just can't even believe.
I'm so thankful for what I've been able to do. You know.
Now, how long have you been doing?
I started in 1976.
1976.
Yeah, and I really started getting serious at it probably about 1982 or better at it, and then just continually got my ass handed to me for years, and I still learn every day. Every day I learn stuff. But now we get into the point where we repair the crankcases or repair cast iron components, and so I'm focusing on the welding and the procedures and, oh my God, the tungstens and the filler rods and all that. We really try to restore.
And what motors do you work on? I mean, at Accurate Engineering, what do you do?
Well, we just finished up a 1911 Indian, and I have a 2006 that I'm working on. I've got a 2013, a 1913, and 1915 Indian in there right now. So doing a 1930. I don't know if y'all know about the Race of Gentlemen, but we're taking a 1937 45 to the Race of Gentlemen, which is on the beach up in New Jersey in 1st of July. And we're going to try to kick their ass.
One of the things that you were telling me earlier, Barry, too, is the land speed bike you're building.
2 of them, yeah. Well, we're doing a new land speed bike. And is that coming okay, Dana? I hate to leave him doing all the dirty work, but he normally does. We're doing a new land speed bike, and it's really not to set any great records. It's because of the age that a lot of my friends are and opportunities. I mean, we can see the finish line now. You start getting over 60 towards 70. And so what we're doing is I have an old Bonnie Truett 4-speed drag race frame, and we're putting in a dual carb knucklehead motor, keeping the 4-speed, and we're going to do land speed racing. We're going to do it at Bonneville. We're going to do the 1-mile races at a place called Blytheville, Arkansas, just south of the Throat Rolls, man, right there in Sykeston, Missouri. And those are 1-mile races, and I'm going to let people or friends run this thing. I'm going to let them check in and run it because, and then they sign their name on the back of the seat, put their mile per hour, and we go to the next guy. So that's what we're doing, running a dual carb knucklehead at Bonneville. I'm gonna
beg, borrow, and plead until I get to ride that bike. That's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I tell you.
All right, one more. We get it. Okay. Now normally these are Allen bolts that we're taking out. This is not OEM. Normally you have a hex style. Dead blow. Now, I know a lot of y'all have seen this before. Screwdriver marks up under everything. You saw it on your grandfather's car. You've probably done it. I never have. That's not true. But what I like to use are putty knives. They spread the load. They don't mar the case. They don't do any of that. So I do a lot of these. I've got some early ones. I shape them. I sharpen them. I do that with my own tools, my hand tools, which I'll show you in a minute. So we'll just go up under here. And a lot of times this is a cork gasket, but it's also paper. And I'm just going to tap this just a little. I don't want to hurt the aluminum. Now I'm going to use my hands, and I'm just going to move it around a little bit, and we're going to lift it off. And since it's valuable, a customer or whatnot, we are not going to lay it upside down on a surface.
No, we're not.
Do not do that. I know y'all take your air cleaners and lay them upside down. Don't do that anymore. We're going to look in the inside. We will see a felt pad. This felt pad is for dampening the sound. If that felt pad's not in there, these things roar. And if any of y'all smoke marijuana, at about 60 miles an hour, it sounds like your stuff's blowing up. That's why I quit smoking weed and I put pads in. Now, I always carry a Sharpie because I like to get autographs from Athena. I like to mark the stuff. So we're just going to go F, and I'm going to show something about the baggies in a minute.
If you're watching us on Facebook Live, we Facebook Live all of our Grease and Gears Garage segments.
Chris,
so that we can put them out there. And if you're on Facebook Live, you can ask us questions. That's why I have this plug in my ear. It's not because I work for the Secret Service. Huh? They talk to me from the back. And
we're about to look very unprofessional. I got to rotate the shaft. Okay. All right, Danny, you want to go ahead and remove the spark plugs for me? Okay, I'm going to remove this next pan. If I'm moving too fast, if I'm not doing enough, ask me a question.
If he does move too fast, you can look us up on our YouTube channel, Grease and Gears Garage. You can watch it as many times as you want.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got it. And we do have the felt in the number 2.
Whatever we do now, Barry, it's forever. It's on the internet forever. So
These were cork gaskets that they used, and there was a type of a sealant on it. It looks to be a silicon. I use very little silicon, and there's a reason why, but there's a place for it, but it ain't on these damn things. Don't do that. Silicones are for breasts. That was a cork. That would probably be a James. I'm not sure, but it could be a James. You know, you see some of the later ones that are come from over there, and they're just thick as tar. You don't get a good engagement with your screws up here. You pull the threads out. Holy cow, who thought of that stuff?
Barry, we just had Clint Wallace on Facebook tell us that he's getting ready to do the same thing for his bike he's building for Passion Built.
Yeah.
And so he's very thankful that you're doing this today.
Oh, very good. Now, I want to share something with you. Come feel this. It feels like a woman's breast from Hollywood. This is wonderful silicone, a high durometer. This takes 5 to 7 inch-pounds of compression, and it will hold it without Loctite. I have these made. No, I don't use Loctite. I don't, but you can, but I like to see a lock patch, because what happens with a wet Loctite, especially if you don't use any primer on it, first off, it's not going to seal. And the next thing, it comes out and makes almost a shellac on here, causes it to leak. So it's not the gasket, it's the damn Loctite that causes an area to leak.
Does it press down pretty evenly?
It does. And it's almost like an automobile. You don't want to overdo it. Yep, that's right. Now, originally, Chris's motor would have had the thin D-rings, which I personally love. I love that look. These are the thick D-rings that he has, and we might be going back with that. So, do what, Barry?
What if I run a bunch of gas tape on that shaft so we can turn it?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to hurt it, but here we go.
Well, he knows a guy that can fix
Okay, we're going to do something very unethical, but we're going to do it.
I'm familiar with that.
The show must go on. We don't have the sprocket shaft nut or the key or the sprocket, but we need to turn that shaft so we can loosen the push rods, and I want to show y'all some stuff. So we're going to tape up the shaft and put some damn vice grips on it. You believe that? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Got to do it, baby. But we're going to be replacing that shaft. Yeah, we're on the side of the road in Pecos, Texas. We got to get home. All right, now, they had pulled this motor prior to me getting here, and so we know we're going to have some oil down in the crankcase and in the gear case.
Well, Barry,
I'm going to get Dana to drain the, yeah, go ahead.
Barry, Heather just said whatever you need to do to get that thing running, do it. So you have now, she's just opened the checkbook.
I have Heather's permission. I can do any damn thing I want to. Chris got no say, and it's his engine. So what we've done is we've taped up the sprocket shaft. It's really nice. We're going to drain the crankcase, but I want to show y'all the operation of how the valve train works. A lot of you guys already know this, but a lot of people don't. And then I'm going to talk about how we remove the rocker arm bearings. This is the rocker arm assembly. It has two bearings. One's a bronze top, and it has a cast iron bottom. Now, I will be able to, especially, hey, the green hair. Okay, I want you to see this later on. I want you to pay attention. I'm going to show you how that most wrenches don't fit this. It's because of the casting. Never be afraid to take your wrenches, and if you can't do it, go to a local machine shop and modify your wrenches to fit. It doesn't matter. You got to do that. Don't do that. Because here's what happened. I see more of these nuts rounded off, ruined, doesn't fit square. They're trying to use an open-end wrench. An open-end wrench gets 1/16 of a bite on that. That's all it is. That's it. So
I'm going to show him that. You see what he's done there?
I'm going to pass around the rocker arm bearing and show it. And this will go right to deck. Now, when I'm building Chris's motor, if we were doing this, I go in and then I machine these for proper tool clearance. You always want a full pull. You want your tools to fit, and that's what you're doing. But you'll notice how this sits on deck. Now, if you'll grab me a 1/2-inch socket, or Dana, grab me a 1/2-inch socket, I'm going to show you how they don't fit.
Half-inch socket.
Got to do it, baby.
3/4.
There's no 1/2-inch socket.
3/8.
It doesn't matter. I'm just going to show how it fits.
Oh, here. He's just
We're going to go up.
There it goes.
All right. Let me find a good one, and it'll be here. Well, I'm going to make a liar out of me on this one, huh? Oh, there we go.
Oh, there's one.
There we go. There we go. This is a great fitment, and somebody would take this off. These are normally at 15 to 18 foot-pounds. Are you ready?
I think our tank's gonna hold.
Go get bigger, get channel locks, bigger channel locks, whatever
Mark
you got.
and I were talking about it earlier.
I'm going to replace that shaft. We're fixing to turn this shaft.
When
bro.
you're working on anything, you'll have to sometimes make your own tools, modify them. We were talking about
all the time. I'm fixing to show a great example of this. That's why I brought these.
Mark was talking about working on Audis.
Get right on the thread.
He said he always has to make tools
Yeah, we're
because
fixing to kill
everything's
it.
so
Take it
close
off.
together.
Get on the thread and rotate it.
Can't get to anything.
We're going to replace this shaft. It's just the way we got to do it. All right. I don't know if you guys can see this. How I do all this is how I take it apart. Remember, you had the uncle that used to take the cardboard and write everything down and poke a hole through it with the push rods and the valves and all that crap. You don't need to do that. Here's what we do. We do it just like we're writing or we're doing numbers, left to right. This is the right side of the engine. You're facing it right now. So this is number 1 or A, number 2, number 3, number 4. So when we take this stuff apart, it goes in a baggie, and we can dissect it later. But you do it left to right, just like you read, just like you do math, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to say this. This is actually the number 1 cylinder, not this one. This is the front cylinder, but it's not the number 1 cylinder. The piston reaches firing and top dead center on the rear cylinder first. And the early Indians, that's actually where they do their timing from, with a little rod for a 9/32 before top dead center. But anyway, we're going to do this 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to disassemble them. But we'll do a rotation and let them see how it works. See how these? All right, now. All right, intake's open. Front intake is open. Do it in the bite way. Yeah, okay, you got it. You got it. All right, rear exhaust is opening and front intake is closing. Front or rear intake is opening. Rear intake is now closing. And now this is when that cylinder is fixing to fire. At 7/16 before top dead center, 35 degrees, that's when it's going to fire. That's in advance. So that's how it works. really interesting when you watch them. And on my engine test stand, I run these with a stroboscope, and then we actually watch these work. I've got pans with the tops cut off of them. I have a clear Gearcase cover. I watch the stuff. We film it. I shoot it with a stroboscope. What's really going on in there? I'm from Louisiana. I'm not that smart. So let's go find out. And that's how we do it. We go and watch it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the pushrod tube clips off. These are the clips. This is the cup, and this is the tube.
That is a tried and true design somebody came up with years ago, isn't it? And it just has never changed.
Oh man, I tell you what, I love this stuff. And much of it, especially if you read the books like by Harry Ricardo, Dr. Robert Bentley, you'll find out that other than metallurgy, machinery, and everything, the physics of this stuff has been known for a long, long time. Really interesting stuff. So I've taken off this clip. I'm going to collapse that, collapse this. Dana, 4-gallon bags, 1, 2, 3, and 4, please. So what we're going to do is we've got these gallon Ziploc bags. You can do this at your house. It makes it easy, and you can clean it separately later on. You don't want to mix it up, especially if you're disassembling and putting it back together. You want to keep your wear patterns in the same area because you might not replace everything. So he's going to take a Sharpie, number them 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's how we're going to do it. This is one on my left. And notice how I lay these out on the table. It's still left to right. So, okay, I'm going to collapse that tube. Now what we're going to do is get, and you'll see this a lot of times, especially with evolution engines, you will see people loosen the cylinder heads, loosen the rocker boxes without collapsing the push rods. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Barry, we just had somebody online ask, they joined us a little late. If you're joining us a little late, either online or here, why we're using channel locks on the shaft.
Okay. Is he on there now?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your name? What's his name?
David Potter.
David?
Yeah.
David, I'll tell you. Because we can. Nope, here's the deal. I arrived here, and the motor arrived here a different way, and we do not have the sprocket shaft, nut, we don't have the key, and we don't have the sprocket. But we're going to replace the sprocket shaft with a new one because Heather said that we could. Thank you, David.
There you go. Yeah, we're.
And now that I've been properly scolded, may I move on? Okay, rotate the shaft. And by the way, David, that wasn't me. That was Dana doing it.
Yeah, it's Dana. It's all his fault.
Okay, now notice, both push rods are now loose. You can spin them. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen the head bolts for the push rods. The dryer, the modern dryer, put these things out of business. Harley Davidson brought them back. It's how you keep your push rod tubes up. When you
I'll tell you what, and the plastic ones don't work because they don't grip. I've gotten plastic clothesline pins, and they just slide right down.
No plastic. Only wood, baby. No plastic. We don't use plastic no more. A whale might eat that thing. Are you kidding me? You got to have wood.
I know. That great big floating garbage dump out there in the sea.
Okay. I'm going to need 7/16 over there. You got it in the big box, Dana? 7/16. Yeah, open him. Yep, just so I can do the push rods.
Should be on the table, shouldn't be in the box.
I got this one and this one. This is all I got.
I go look over here and see.
Yeah, just give me a 1/2 inch 7/16. I mean,
Mark will
opening
help you find it at 7/16 there. Oh, he knows right where it's at. He's already been through the toolbox.
Now, you guys may have seen line wrenches in your life. I know you have. These are really good. Now, you have to address it. You have to cut them down. But these will really give. If you've ever had a loose push rod because you didn't tighten the damn thing, these bite. They'll go right around the threaded area, drop down, and you can really put a good bite on it. But when you do that, when you do lock your push rods down, make sure you put some oil between the two nuts. Do that. What you're trying to do is stop any parasitic friction. All right, here we go. in in the year of this motor, 49 up to late 52, the Harley Davidson Panhead was a hydraulic push rod, not a lifter. The hydraulic unit was at the top. They didn't work so well. In 1953, late 52, 1953, they started using hydraulic lifters. This is a solid lifter motor. Number one.
And adjustable push rods save you from having to cut them out every time you do something with them.
Need to turn it?
No, they're loose.
Now, Barry, you're also kind of, you were mentioning earlier that you're looking kind of towards the finish line of life. Not that you're in any way ill or getting there, but you're getting ready to start a new venture too, a YouTube channel. You were telling me.
We are. We're starting a YouTube channel, and we share this kind of stuff. And it's going to be really, I'm going to do it with other people. I'm going to have guests. Dana's going to help me do it. We're learning about. We know a lot more about engines than we do about cameras. So we're dealing with that. But my girlfriend just bought a 1950 original FL, number 2. And what we will do is we will pull her motor out. We're going to restore the whole bike, but we'll pull the motor out and we'll go over it in high detail, and you'll be able to use that information, take it to your local machine shop. At least you'll see what's going on.
Well, what I'm most excited about when you told me about this YouTube channel, he said, you know, what they know most about is engines, but they also are, and he says, but you know, we're going to talk about dogs and cooking and guns, and so it sounds like it's just going to be a lot of fun. I used to live in Georgia. Now I live in Iowa. I kind of wish I lived in Georgia again. I'd come over and play with you, but you've gone down from 12,000 to 4,500 square feet. Purposefully, so that you can prepare just to focus on this YouTube channel that you want to do. Kind of covers, it sounds like man cave stuff.
It is absolutely gray-haired little boy, immature area to be.
So expect a lot of fart jokes on there. Be some fart jokes, and probably could be old man, a lot of farting probably.
Now I'm seeing some combination. Before I take this apart, can you guys see this stuff on the monitor? Does the camera pick that up? I don't know.
Yeah, they're seeing it.
Can they see this? Okay. You've got 2 oiling tubes up here on the intake. And it actually has, it's just a tube, has a little bearing in it. I can't remember the last one I saw that worked. And it holds oil and it's made to drip out over time. Unless I'm restoring a motor, I no longer use them, and I can almost prove that you don't really need them. But a lot of people love it.
It's the appendix of the
they have a
Panhead
predetermined
motor.
set that you have to bend the tube away from the rocker arm. Oh, this is good. This is the way they can see the rocker arm. I think it's 5/32 of an inch away from it. But you can see the contact areas of the rocker arms here. Valve retainer. And now what we're going to do now, in fact, I'll turn it this way so you can see it. We're going to take this first rocker arm bearing off. These rocker arm bearings have split nuts. They're lock nuts. They don't use a washer originally. There's a couple different ways that I do this. I like the split nuts. But if I'm using like a late model STD head or a reproduction head, I'll use bolts up there. And I use a product called a Nordlock. And a Nordlock is a two-piece washer. And they have, perfect example. We're pulling the stud out right now. These are supposed to be 15 to 18 foot-pounds. I see this all the time. And I can walk around here and I can see a stud, one stud higher in a nut and another. You see this a lot. I'm pulling that stud out of that head. Those threads are giving away. There's different reasons why, age, over-tightening, things of that nature. But a lot of times, you will be adjusting a push rod, or you'll see somebody have a lifters out of adjustment, and they just go crazy over here. And they ride it a few miles and does it again. What's happening is all 4 of these are backing off, and this is starting to lift up. And then you'll begin to hear it rattle up on the pan. But you're seeing the perfect example. This is the stuff that we run into. And so we now know that we will be, now if it did not pull the threads out, this came out and had a lot of oil in the bottom of it. Definitely needed to service that, that threaded hole. But very common, nothing unusual. This is number one. All right, I'm putting all this stuff back in that number one bag.
Now, if you happen to be Jewish or Hebrew, you know, you read the other direction, you know, just you're going to have to do that math for yourself because that's, of course, right to left, not left to right.
Okay, now, this lower unit has 2 pins that's being held on there. It's hydraulic with oil. It has 2 locating pins. They can be a booger to get off. I've loosened it slightly with the dead blow. I take this putty knife that I shaped myself, and I can get up under this, and it won't leave any screwdriver marks. I'm not denting that aluminum, and I'm fixing to get this booger right off.
What was that, Heather?
This is the rocker arm bearing, and I noticed they've engraved it here, RE, rear exhaust. These come apart. They only go together one way. This is where the pin, notice one of the pins came out. This is one of the pins, and it came out of the head. The pins, everything needs to be serviced. These are rebuildable to an extent. We have a fixture that we hold them down. We run a surface grinder on them. We have another fixture that holds the top. And then we bolt them together in a fixture at 15 to 18 foot-pounds, just like they're running. We put them on a stun-and-home machine, or we'll bore them on the mill, and then we'll hone them for size. Like to run about 1,000 to 2 thousandths clearance.
That's a lot of measuring, Barry. I have a ruler at the shop, though. I got, well, a tape measure, so that should suffice. So I should be able to do this with it.
I like tape measures.
Now, how many motors do you suppose you built for people in the industry?
Oh, man, if I said it out here, they wouldn't believe it. I'll tell you this. I had one customer that we did 812 motors for.
812 motors.
My heroes didn't build that many motors in their life, and that was one customer. Wow. Now, that's the biggest customer I ever had, granted. But, yeah, is my mic working? Can y'all hear this?
Working. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
man, that's
and
huge.
I've had, I'm telling you, I was that little barefoot dirt road boy from Coshada, Louisiana, model builder, dreamer, building Joe Smith's dragster from the Revell model kit, and it came true because I kept after it. I chewed it till it was bloody, brother.
There you go. Persistence.
And now I get to talk to a lot of those guys, and it's so much fun. Facebook has done that. Joe Smith is a friend of mine on Facebook.
Oh, really? Look at that. Yeah, man.
I just talked to
for all the bad things that Facebook's done, it's done a couple of good
Kirby
things.
Apathy, the other, all kinds. It's so cool, man.
Yeah,
these guys are the people I really look up to, man.
Yeah, you get to meet a lot of cool people and find out they're just normal guys, man.
Never meet your heroes, right? But I've met a few of mine, and I love them.
Yeah. Well, I met you, and you were one of my heroes. See? Look
Oh,
at that.
Lord. Yeah. Like I said, you better start aiming higher, buddy.
So you just removed the appendix of the Panhead engine there, that little oiling tube, huh? You just don't even need it.
Yep.
Now, you said that you've got everything from 1911 Indians, 1913 Indian motors in there, up to 2013, 15. But do you mostly focus on the vintage stuff? What do you enjoy that more?
It came to me by accident. But on the late model stuff, and I was just talking with Athena about this a little while ago. It's not romantic to me. I don't dig the computers. I certainly don't want a TV screen on my fairing. I'm not that guy, and that doesn't make it bad. I'm just not that guy.
Right.
If I had a train, I want it to be a steam train. If I flew an airplane, I want it to be a biplane. I want to be a part of the mechanism. If it can't go without me and I can't go without it, I want to be a part of it. That's what I like.
Yeah.
But the other stuff is fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's just not. So that's where all my work gravitated to.
Right.
But then when I got into repairing, like the aluminum and the case repair, head repair, cutting my own pistons and stuff, it just evolved into that.
There's something about saving things. Mark and I were talking about this earlier. I do a lot of old cars, and when I'm doing a car, there's something
Number
about
2, and it was marked RI, rear intake.
I feel like I'm saving a piece of history too. So I mean, it really does. It has more soul to it for me.
Man, these
sometimes.
vice grips on this shaft are killing me. You know
I
that.
know. Oh God, they got to be. I know.
Cow.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Yep. I'm gonna have to block this view a little bit. I'm gonna try to move a little faster, y'all. Normally, this is so true about when you tear down an engine. You don't do it fast, especially if you built the motor, because it's your test. It's gonna tell you what the hell was going on, what's going on inside the motor, what's wearing, what's right, what's not right, and so you really want to dissect it. I'm having to move more quickly here. The YouTube stuff that I'll be sharing with you guys will be a lot more detailed and in-depth, and you can always hit fast forward. Right, Dana?
That's right. Or rewind.
Rewind, yeah. What that?
What was that?
In this one? Probably 7 3/4 or something like that. We don't know because we don't know what's inside. But I'll tell you, when they look in the front of this book and they say 7 3/4, 8 1/4, I measure that stuff. It's not. In 1973, they changed the length of the connecting rod to a 7.440 connecting rod. Y'all remember that? These early rods should have a 7.470 length. But in 1973, they changed the length of the connecting rod, but they also, by 30,000, but they also changed where the wrist pin went in the piston. Those pistons are long gone. So when you do this, you really have, especially with the aftermarket components, you really need to measure this stuff. You can guess, but you know where guessing gets you.
Oh, they said they're having a problem hearing you now. Your mic must have dropped somehow. Nope, I don't even see it. I'm going to have to feel around on you.
Woo! Back to that silicone.
Oh, man, those are nice titties. Where'd it go? Ba-da-da-da-da.
Did it drop out the back?
It didn't drop out the back, but you get...
Oh!
I don't know where it went, Barry. Did you eat it?
Dang, all that and no reach around.
Well, you moved. Well, we found it.
It's in my sleeve.
It's in his sleeve. That's why you can't hear him, because his elbow's talking.
Yeah.
He's got something up his sleeve. That's just it, right there. I never even seen one do that. Look at that.
Smell good now.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm not using that one later.
All right, we're not going to go with a professional look. We're going to get it back on there. Good to go?
All right, there we go. All right.
I told y'all I wasn't good with cameras.
There we go.
Moving on, Dana. Okay. Did you loosen the push rods?
No, turn it.
Okay.
What size pistons are in this motor?
Pardon me?
What size pistons are in this?
We don't know yet. We're going to find out. It says it's an EL. We're about to find out what it really is. On the knucklehead, the Bonneville motor that we're doing, and Vivian's engine, her dual carb knucklehead, it's a 3.5-inch stroke. An EL stroke, 3.5-inch stroke, but we're going to run 3 and 13/16 cylinders. I've already made the cylinders, so it's just 78 cubic inches. It's going to spin like crazy. The top end's not going to take it, but it's going to be really cool. And that matters. Everything going okay?
We got Chris and Mark back here. Is my mic still working? No, my mic's not working. Okay.
Now we'll notice that these ports, these intake ports, they have what we call an O-ring intake manifold on it. This motor did not come with that originally. What it has is a plumber-styled manifold. It's got a big plumber nut on it. I still like them, and you can get a product called Peak Seals, and they really work. That brass stuff from over there, don't do that. Peak Seals, that's what you want. But, and I can see where this has been welded and remachined. This isn't a piece that was put in there and welded. And it's not a bad job. Pretty daggum good.
My battery's died.
Is it? Do you need some more? I've got some right there. I've got some right there.
Oh,
No, right here, right here. There.
oh, he ran and got me some. Chris is running.
Anything I can do to make your stay more pleasant, let me know.
I'll tell you what. Well, I could use a little bit of Jack Daniels.
You got it?
That last band stole it. They brought it and then took it. Booger.
They still make it. Don't worry.
Oh, you got some? He had some. Everybody had batteries but me. The hills are alive with the sound
How's that going, good?
of music. Now you can hear me. There we go. All right.
Oh, it's gonna be
Heather's
fine.
requested
Got you a new shaft.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Sure looks good on film, doesn't it?
See? Heather shouldn't get to request music. Man, don't look at me. I see. I was in a happy look. She goes,
Okay, up under the bottom.
saw
of
that.
my,
You don't think
here,
I'm watching,
right
but I am.
There you go.
I'm watching all
Use
the
a
time.
hammer. Up
The
under
key
the bottom
is
of the steel one.
damn thing
Yep,
back
right here.
on now.
Right on the edge. No, use this one. That'll absorb the energy. Yeah. Get her going.
Now, when you're using a hammer
Yep. Come over here.
on a motorcycle, if you're doing anything more than
Okay,
tapping,
come over here.
you're angry and about to spend a lot of money. So always be careful with a hammer.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Man, my oldest son is a diesel mechanic. When he's working
Okay,
on
here we go.
motorcycles, he thinks they're
got
big
the other
diesel
ones bagged
trucks.
up?
He'll go to whacking on them. I got to slow him down every once in a while. He'll break something.
Okay. Number 4, the front exhaust. Now, the reason the engine's up so high is this is the type of engine stand that we use at our shop. We have them on tables and we have them placed on pedestals, and our tables are shorter. But I'm going to break these head bolts and then the cylinder base nuts. Snap-on wrench, S wrench, 9/16. Gets up in there, really does a good job for your angles. Harley Davidson wrench, factory tool, long and short. You get up in here, you can do that. Now, I have had this, I guess, since 1980, but this is a factory Harley Davidson cylinder base wrench, and it's 5/8. Don't be afraid when your wrenches don't fit the hardware or your cylinders to go over to the belt and dress them so they do fit, and make sure they fit with a good sweep, especially if you're going to paint it and whatnot. This is very important about this. If I were to get a colony kit, a reproduction colony kit for this engine right now, hardware kit, all the nuts and bolts, we can get it in chrome, we can get it parkerized, we can get zinc, whatever you want. Those kits are up towards $300. If you take a 12-point wrench and you put it on that 6-point, you're going to mar that damned wrench. I mean, that nut. You just did that. You just bought it. You just got it. You paid $300 for it. Don't do that. If it's 6-point, use 6-point. If it's 12, use 12. When you're disassembling and it's kind of grungy, you might want to get away with the 12 so you can get different angles of bites. But really, use the proper hardware with the proper wrench. It's so important. Here's a for instance. When we disassemble oil pumps, or we go in and take a lifter screen, look at a lifter screen, this is just a portion. All of these drag links, I machine and I fit to all the slots. It might only fit 2, but this is what you have to do unless you want to ruin your hardware. So we fit the hardware, or fit the tools to all the hardware that we use. And if we don't have it, we'll go over and we will make it. The Gearcase cover, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but the Gearcase cover is slotted and it's countersunk. This is strictly for my Gearcase cover screws, and it's strictly for disassembly. I do not assemble motors with this one. And it fits that slot, and on the interior of it, it's slightly concave. So is this, just to fit it properly. And especially if you're dealing with original hardware. The stuff's getting very expensive. And you start dealing with the CP bolts and stuff, you really want to save them the best you can if they don't require a lot of torque. And you can replate them. So what we'll do now is we'll lock down. I'm going to get Dana to drain the crankcase, and I'm going to show you how we drain the crankcase. Right here on this screw. This is the one that people like to take out when it's in their bike frame, and then they realize they can't get it out because it won't clear the frame, and they can't get it back in. And it happens all the time. I personally have never done that. All right, where's my map gas?
Want to remind you guys that Grease and Gears Garage, we have a YouTube channel, Grease and Gears Garage. right there on YouTube. You can also follow us around on several different sites. Cycle Source Magazine carries all of our stuff. So check us out. You can go back and you can replay this as many times as you need to be able to catch anything that you happen to miss, particularly if you just joined us. It's on the interweb forever.
This is MAP gas. You can get propane, but I like to use MAP gas. Let me tell you why I do this. We don't know who built this motor, and we don't know what they did it with. We don't know if they use Loctite. We don't know if they use Loctite with primer. Few do, they should. So we don't know. So what I like to do is warm all this hardware. I don't want to kill the hardware. I don't want to slip the hardware and get the gear case cover. So I warm it all up. If it's something, I'll show you on the flywheels tomorrow when we do that, but like on the gear case cover, sometimes I'll warm it enough to where it bubbles slightly. Then I know I broke that adhesion. So it's very important just to warm it up. You're not trying to cook it. And when it lights the oil up down there, it makes for fun talk in the shop.
I like watching that show on TV, Forged in Fire. You guys familiar with that one? I like that show. And a guy actually caught his whole forge on fire this week. He oil spilled. Did you guys see that? Oil spilled over. It was a damn mess.
One of those?
He's one ahead of me. I've done a lot of stupid things, but I haven't caught my shop on fire yet.
Hey.
I caught my hair on fire 2 years ago welding. I had diesel fuel in my hair, and I burned all my hair off. And I've got beautiful hair. It was a shame. I burned it all off, though, welding under a truck.
Number 2, number 4.
I was supposed to be at Moto Blot that week, and I had to decline because I looked like a pimple. My whole head balled and swelled up.
Beauty.
Want to also take time to thank Progressive Motorcycle Insurance. They've invited Grease and Gears Garage to participate in 5 rallies with them this year around the country. We'll probably do 14 events this year, and 4 of them for sure are going to be with Progressive, so we sure are happy about them being able to bring us out and about and provide little entertainment, probably very little entertainment, but at least some information about motorcycles. So thank you, Progressive.
Yeah. My aircraft. Yeah. That's going to be 5/16.
Now, Barry, how long does it usually take you to do this in your shop if you're tearing down a motor?
I take my time to pull an engine down at my shop. If this were to come in the morning, it won't take me all day, but it will take me 4 to, depending on the motor and what you run into, because you always, I promise you always run into something. But it can take me 4 to 5 hours because I'm really looking at stuff. I'm bagging things. And then we go into the cleaning part, and I'm telling y'all, the cleaning part is I've seen some well-built motors that were dirty on the inside, they weren't properly cleaned, and they did not last. I've seen clean, not so well-built motors do pretty darn good. So cleanliness, I can't stress it enough. But I'm going to show you later on how we open up all the oil passages. We're going to go find somebody that glass beaded this thing 10 years ago. I can promise you there's glass bead in this motor, and I'm going to go show it to you. But we take out all of the galley plugs, and I replace them with factory plugs, unless it's an AMF Harley Davidson, a shovel head and nose cone. Then I weld it, or I tap it and put a set screws so I can clean it and pull it. Just service it.
Barry's talking about cleaning a motor, and I've been having Heather Callan in a production trailer back there talk to me in my ear. She says a lot of stuff I can't repeat, but just the weirdest thing just happened to me. This first event we've used this little earpiece so they can talk to me. I don't think I like it. I don't really. It's confusing. I want to answer them when they ask me questions, but I can't. But then now all of a sudden it's Chris's voice, and I'm at a motorcycle event, and all he said was hot soapy water.
Kind of
That's weird. Have a grown man whisper in your ear, hot soapy water. I don't think I like that.
Here comes the circuit breaker, though. I want to share something about the circuit breaker. It's not a distributor. It doesn't distribute. It breaks the circuit. We're going to have to separate it, take it in half. The early style, the kind that was supposed to be on here, had an advanced retard that's hooked to a cable on your left handlebar. It's the way God intended it. That's what it should be. This is an aftermarket one. I've tested a ton of these, y'all. Buy the best components that you can afford. You don't have to be super high-end, but buy the best that you can afford. Because I can assure you, I put test indicators on these things. I have a distributor machine I can run them in. I look at it. They're eccentric. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to set the points, and you really can't. And it's eccentric from the machining process. It's nothing that you did, but you worked your ass off. You paid a lot of money for it. Buy the best one that you can afford, honestly.
What's that? Is that just intolerances when they make the part?
Pardon me?
Athena's asking, is that just the intolerances when they make the part then? It's just...
Yeah, from over there, the people don't care. But the people over here are having it made. It's people over here screwing us by people over there.
And explain eccentric if you don't mind.
What's eccentric? My grandmother or something that's like this. It's eccentric. My grandmother was very eccentric. And she was kind of like that.
Yes.
That's what Grandpa said.
I don't even want to go there. Chris is talking in my ear. You're talking out here. I'm just going to be quiet about Grandma in any shape. Nothing. I don't really care.
You never know. It's like we're in the shop, brother. We're just in the shop.
I know. But even in my shop, I don't.
We have all these friends here in the shop with us.
I know. Yeah. If we're all friends, why isn't somebody bringing us beer? Right? We should.
I don't drink when I work. I really don't. Don't drink. Don't do it.
Okay.
Oh, I can kill it later on. All right, circuit breaker, these are all. Let me see if I can separate this thing. Here we go. Okay.
Brian and Deb Scharf, Barry.
Pardon me?
Brian and Deb Scharf. You met them in a bar. And the next day, you invited them to come by and see your shop. They're online watching you, and they said, wanted to give a testimony. Said, Barry's the real deal. So,
Who?
Brian and Deb Sharp.
Holy cow.
Look at
Thank
that.
you, guys. Where's the camera?
Right here and right over there.
Thank you. I love you, man. What we have here is a set of points. He's running a standard set of points. Not a bad deal. I like them. There's some aftermarket components that can replace these days. One of them's Quick Start 2000. Good stuff, really good stuff. But you want to check this stuff the best you can. What we have here, I want to share this with you. I have a motor in my shop right now, and the heads are smoking killer panheads, except for this. They're missing these 3-cylinder fins. Why? Because they didn't have a manual, because they didn't know that they had to take the circuit breaker apart to pull it out. So they broke the fins off the head to pull the circuit breaker out. A manual would have saved that. Now I'm welding their fins back on, but that's why the manual is very important. These are mechanical flyweights. They need to be serviced. I could do 45 minutes on this piece right here. The YouTube, that's where the YouTube is going to help us out a lot.
Barry, I just got word in my ear. We got about 12 minutes, just to let you know.
That's it?
Yeah.
Holy cow. And then what happens?
I don't know.
Do we turn to something like a pumpkin?
I'm already kind of a pumpkin.
Does everybody have to leave?
I'm already shaped like one. All I got to do
Are y'all ready to leave, or are you going to see the rest of this?
Look at that.
Okay, I'll move along. We're moving.
No, I'm here with you, man. I'll stay out here. I'll stay out here till morning time.
Okay, good.
I got to be here till Sunday night anyway.
We at least want to see what's inside of it.
I do. I kind of do want to see what's inside.
How we doing over there, buddy? Inside one's done? How's the inside? Got the inside?
Yeah, they're all loose.
All right. I'm going to hook this up to some air. You know what? Their air is not going to fit my fitting. Guarantee it. They're going to have the old style. It's not going to work. They got an air tool over there. Let's switch it out with them.
Yeah, we do. We got Mark anywhere in the house. I need my my manager. you're supposed to. It needs air ratchet.
Just any kind of an air tool, just grab one. Yeah, grab tip off of it. All right, no, not that one. Yep, okay, you got it. All right, what we're going to do to take the head bolts out, we're going to use a little universal just to make this stuff go a little quicker. Is the air up? 9/16. There we go. Yep.
What is a handy little socket there?
A lot of times you'll see on this side over here, there's an oil drain through the cylinder. You'll find oil on that bolt. It's coming through the porosity of the head and where the head bolt insert is. It's not unusual, and there's some things you can do about that to make it a little better. Look at the oil on that bolt. See that oil? That comes right out of the head.
Do you have an opinion about, I mean, is it offensive to you when companies build look-alike panheads and knuckleheads, you know, with modern kind of internals?
No, I do it. S&S did it.
Yeah.
I've been doing it since, well, when we were first able to get some heads from Lou Trachtenberg. Godspeed to him. I love that guy.
That's where I first kind of had run into you, was when you were doing that. So you were the first guy to really start modernizing them. You were the Kiwi Mike of the vintage Harley motors.
Yep. Strange but true.
I bought a panhead from you in, oh man, I don't even know what year.
Look at all the oil. Let me see this. Is that the camera?
Wow, this is poured out.
This is the oil that's coming out of these head bolts, and there's a reason for it. We're going to go find out. Could be the head gasket. We don't know yet. Don't hit the cylinder fins. Do not do that. You can tap these things, but
if you use a hammer, it's a tap.
yeah, just tap it. Don't. All right, we have. I wish the camera could pick that up. But this
it's
head
right
bolt,
above you. It's getting
this head bolt and this head bolt insert have been leaking oil. And they've been getting it through the porosity or a machining area of this. And you would address that during the teardown.
Yeah, we've got a camera up here that's getting that.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. We got cameras everywhere, man.
Okay. Yep, got one more. Yeah, really, when you're tearing these things down, it's not about speed. It's about what's going on with it.
Just
what are you
taking your
doing?
time
Yeah,
and looking at
it's part of the job. A lot of people do it quickly, but that's just not how I do it. Little tap, came off nicely. He's running blue Teflon gaskets, probably James. These heads are nice. They've had a 5/1000 deck on the little 5/1000 deck on the head bolt inserts. Nicely done. Don't look bad at all. All right,
Even came with a critter on this one. Got a little stink bug on this jug.
So we do have to move a little more quickly, so I can't address everything like I want to. But the YouTube, right?
A YouTube, there you go.
Pat Leahy would be proud of me using these wrenches. I just saw where he wrote something on that on Facebook the other day. It was pretty cool. He's been doing it longer than me. And good at it too.
And really, if you're only gonna do this, if you have the idea that you're only do it once, it's really worth having somebody like yourself do this.
And I have to
because
say,
of all the specialty to it.
and it's expensive. Yeah. But also, the extra steps that we go to that a lot of people don't have the ability to do, the equipment to do, and didn't know to do it. It doesn't make them bad people.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks out there that have tried real hard, but you just can't do everything yourself.
Can't do it all, though.
While he's loosening that up, I'll let you know that you can go over to the chop shop tomorrow, see one of the progressive girls over there. They're giving away a brand new Indian Scout. All you got to do is go sign up. They're going to be giving away an Indian Scout. So make sure that you get around a progressive over there at the chop shop tomorrow. They're also braiding hair over there and doing beard trims and boot shines and airbrush tattoos.
I need my
glasses. A lot of stuff going on over there. They'll braid that. They'll try. Tie it right to your back hair. We'll get Chris to go over there and get his hair braided tomorrow.
Are we okay by going over?
Yeah, you know what we'll do?
Look like
Once
David
you get
Allen
the,
Coe, won't he?
Once you get the cylinders off, I'll switch the schedule a little bit tomorrow, and we'll come back and talk about all the stuff we want to talk about the top end. I'll give you an extra slot.
I'd love to do that.
Is that good?
I'd love to do that because
that's
there's some
perfect.
things on here that were done nicely. Those heads were done nicely, and some things I'd like to address.
Chris just said we're going to move the schedule around some tomorrow, and when we don't get to now, because we're getting ready to have to wind up, we'll come back. We'll remind you what we did today, and then we'll be able to come back tomorrow.
I want everybody to see the real, because once you get the motor apart, that's when you really start to look at what you have.
Well, and Barry just said there's some things that have been done to this motor that he'd like to be able to show because they've been done pretty nicely. And so he's not finding this to be a complete disaster, which I'm sure is not always the case in Barry's shop.
We're putting everything in bags for you, so it's all, nothing's going to get askew. It's all labeled. So
It's all labeled.
I ain't sweating you. You're the one thing I can count on today. Shit.
I appreciate that, Chris.
Well,
No, I get it. I mean, I understand. Chris said Barry's the one thing he can count on today, and I get that.
cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, you got them all?
Now, Chris, what is this motor going in when you get it done?
motorcycle I have called the ticket.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take the cylinders off, I'll pull the pistons, and we stop. Is that what we're going to do? Okay, because that's a lot more to do. This is a full day over here. I mean, honestly. There's so much more to it than a lot of people know. What Chris and I are discussing is that we're going to pull the cylinders off. We're going to determine what bore and stroke, or at least what bore that we have right now. We're going to take the pistons off, show you about how to heat them up and everything. But there's so much to address that we're going to continue to show tomorrow. And because I'm so doggone slow at this, he's going to give me a little bit more time. So I hope you guys are able to come back tomorrow. Stick around a little bit.
Or you can always go
Now
to
I'm
YouTube.
just tapping. Very
Grease
little.
and Gears Garage on YouTube, and you can always check it out there.
I'm anxious to see.
Okay. And then go ahead and get your putty
It's
knife.
almost like a drum roll. We need, yeah, it'd be good,
And
wouldn't
just
it?
work it loose a little bit. Don't bend. Yep, just pull it.
Been waiting to see
Yep,
this thing
okay,
pop
it's going
off
to come.
of here.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take your shop rag first, and we're going to remove the rear cylinder. Okay, we're coming up. All right, we're picking up the cylinder, wrap the, make a little tube out of this, put that up in there. Just going to let this come down. I'm going to pull the cylinder off. Piston will rock a little bit. Now already I noticed that we've got, these are KBs. These are KB pistons, good quality pistons. It's an aftermarket cylinder, but Chris built a chopper. He had no intention of doing a restoration, so he's got some cool stuff here. Now, what I do want to say is I mentioned the connecting rods earlier about the pre-73 and post-73. This is a 7440 rod. It's the 73 and up, meaning it's 30 thousandths shorter than the original connecting rod that came with this engine. So that's why you like to address what really compression ratio you're running. That helps you pick your camshaft and stuff. It's a little bit involved, but it's very important. It doesn't take long, and you get to use a big cow syringe, and that's always fun. Whatever that even means. And we're gonna look. We're gonna take a look. A little galling. You know what that was? Fun. That's what that was.
This motorcycle's been in almost all 48 states.
Yeah, paper towel? Oh, here it is. Never mind. Dana, I got it.
I just commented
Dana,
on
have you got
myself.
your glasses? Do you need your go get your glasses? If you need your glasses, go get your glasses. Okay. Well, here you go. You can clean them so you can see. All right.
I did have a pair till the leg just fell off.
Oh man.
Oh, this is great. I'm gonna. We have a circlip in here, and there's a true arc circlip like a snap ring plier. There's a circlip that goes around the wrist pin itself. What we have is a spiral lock, the one everybody hates. We're going to see how we deal with this thing and how to install them later on. So, and I brought this just in case. I'm going, man, he's going to have one of those things.
Well, screw that.
This is the picture Michael Lichter always likes to get.
I don't have my phone. When you're playing with yours.
I got a question here that nobody's feeding me. David Potter, who busted you for your vice grips there, says, can you address why cylinders bust apart at the base?
Yes, I would love to. It doesn't have to be super hot. I have to stop for a second. This is David?
Yeah, David Potter.
All right. David, in the early years, what they were actually just, is this the camera?
Yeah.
They were weak. They were weak bases. I did a lot of knuckleheads did that, and they were just weak at the base, and a lot of times because they were overboard, pushing them out to the max, as far as 90 thousandths from some of the FL stuff. There can be other reasons. You can start to seize the piston. The cylinder is weak from a poor casting, aftermarket, things of that nature. But normally, when they lift from the bottom, it can be a seizure, a wrist pin rod failure, which will lock it up and just shove it up, and the base nuts don't give, and the weakest point is right above where the bases is. So there's multiple reasons. Most of them are definable in one of those categories, or a combination thereof. Okay, let me get with this true arc here. These are fun. On your chapter.
Want me to hold that light?
No, man, this is it. This is the berry show now. I have to do this. Michael Richter always comes over and takes a picture of it. I'm just relieving some tension off of it a little bit. Off of the pin. I'm backing it off of the wrist pin clip itself. And it's a spiral lock. I like spiral locks, but a lot of people, man, they just don't dig them. And they can be aggravating. There's no doubt about that. I wish I had a proper tool here. But
Well, I've been called a tool, but I've never been proper, so I can't help you.
Here it comes. All right, Dana, get this other one. Come over here. I want you to stick this up under this circlip, and when you go to do these sometime, I want to show you something.
I hate these.
Well, I'm gonna show you what's going on. Let's say that we have these spiral locks. They're very good. They're very good. Well, we can't really get to the tang on this style. So when you get your pistons brand new and you know you've got them, go to a machine shop, or you can do it yourself. Make yourself a little notch there.
Yeah.
So when you go to repair or renew or refresh, you can take it out and they're not so aggravating.
Yeah.
When you go to install them, don't leave them flat. Spring them out, I'd say about 5/8, 9/16 of an inch, and you can put them in with your thumb.
Yeah.
Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this tang, Dana, and I want you to put this up under it, and then we're going to rebite, okay?
Okay.
It'll come.
It's a good look, isn't it? Right back here, we're seeing 3 sexy men heinies.
Come on, my other side, please. Okay, see how it's coming? All right, I need you to get, no, the other side. Yep, wait. Hold on. Don't put it in there until I've got it lifted. Don't do it. Okay, you see that gap? Put it in that gap. Come here, Chris. I want you to see this. No, you're not in that gap. Put that thing in that gap. Get them glasses on. That's what's wrong. You don't have your glasses on. Put them glasses on.
They broke them.
Get that out of there. It's not in there. You can't see. You see that? See how it coming up, Chris? Now watch.
I'd already thrown.
Let me spin it around. Can't. It'll win if you do that.
Hand me those broke glasses over there.
Yeah, or go get some.
That probably work. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, he puts Chris's glasses on. Oh gosh. He's going to have to go stand on the other side of the yard now.
Yeah. Holy cow. What flavor are these?
1.75.
Oh, okay. I might need to up mine.
Put it in that gap. Oh, man.
Trying to get ready.
I'll get it.
Well, that is
Get
frustrating.
it in there.
I got it. Got it.
All right, now you see it? You see it's in that gap?
Yep.
I'm going to come behind it. And push it out as fast as I can. I'll rip.
Shit, that was close.
Oh, it'll come. It's just cause the camera's on. That's why it's taking so damn long. All right, get in the gap. Got it?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go behind it. And I'm going to pull it out. And you leave your piece right there. Don't. All right.
There, man, that is a booger to get out, though, isn't it?
Now, the very first time I ran into that, I think it was some Ross pistons. I went, I'm notching these suckers from now on. And now you see pistons made like that. So just another tech tip. This is the spiral lock. This is the snap ring we were trying to get out. And there's no way to grab the tang. But when you go to put these are very good wrist pin clips, really good. But when you go to insert them, they come flat. Pull them apart, about like that, and you can actually put that in with your thumb.
All right, brother. We got a break for the band. We'll come back.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being
I've
with
been
us.
laid
Greasy
off.
Gears
Thank you so
Garage.
much.
Got some music
I'm good.
coming up.
I'm good.
We'll get you.
I'm good.
We'll get you hooked up in the
That's when you said, I said, how fast?
All right. Yeah.
That was cool.
It's all good. Yep.